Welcome to another week of uh, our postcard, the Double Cross Anime. This is episode 24. I'm here, Mario, and with me is
Whooper, that's me.
Whooper.
Hi, everybody.
Yep, so this week we're gonna do the episode 7 of Banana Fish, episode 6 of Review Starlight, and then volume 2 of High School Girl. Since at this moment we don't have the good sub of Tenro Sirius the Jaeger, so that means we're not going to cover this week.
Yep.
We're gonna do that next week. And on that note, we're gonna try to do the postcard quickly today, just an hour mark.
Yeah, we'll see. We can help each other try to keep it down to an hour.
Yep, due to some issues that we got.
Right.
So let's start first with let's go with Banana Fish.
Okay. This might be the one I have the most to say about.
All right.
Which is cool. So,
yeah,
how'd you feel about
how
this
your
episode?
general feel? I feel alright. Not that good. I think it's just a setting up for now. I don't know how I feel about the new characters, Youth Lunk, being like a kind of guy that we didn't expect. I expect him to be like awesome. He was awesome in a different sense.
What did you want from him?
So,
How did you expect him to be? Because we knew he was a villain.
I just I actually expect him to be like out there, to be like like over the top, like usually that what Banana Fish villain does. But this guy, he's like like he more like a spy. He more like the guy who like who skill, but like he hide it, which actually fit to the like like the Chinese archetype, like hidden crouching tiger, hidden dragon kind of stuff.
He says that in the episode. I mean, we're working with Amazon subs here, but he says we Chinese are trained to move quietly, which kind of encapsulates his character a bit.
Yep, that's right.
And that's
all right. Tell me how.
That's the whole way that they're brought to the. Like they go to that address because it's the address that the scientist Abraham Dawson gave to Ash in the alleyway where he dies.
Yep.
So Yutlung has to be stealthy because apparently his plan is he's going to stage an abduction with himself posing as the adopted son of Abraham Dawson. And then Ash and his merry band of hobbits are gonna come by. I'm sorry, I've been on a Lord of the Rings kick recently. They're gonna come by and they're gonna like save him, and then he's gonna offer them a place to stay, and then he's gonna kidnap Ash eventually. That's his plan. Am I right about that?
Yeah, but he was changing the plan actually. So he was changing the plan now into kidnap AG so that Ash will have to come.
Right.
Yeah.
Let me just talk for a second about how little sense this plan makes. So his plan is to stage this abduction, right? When Ash gets there, he's gonna pose as the adopted son. That's not accounting for the fact that Ash is gonna bring a gun, and he's gonna so essentially Mr. Lee, who oversees Chinatown in LA, I guess, as well as New York. His plan was to send a bunch of his men to stage an abduction and just have Ash, kill them, or but he doesn't kill anyone. You can see him shoot the guns out of their hands. So that plan makes absolutely no sense. Why not? If you know that Ash is going to that address, why not just kidnap him when he shows up? If the goal is to kidnap Ash. Why not just kidnap him?
Yeah, I think their plan is just to monitor him at that time. So just to see his move, just to see like what he's up to. But I agree that the plan is very half-baked. Like you can do something much better than this.
Well, something you just said actually intrigued me, like the idea that they're monitoring them. This whole
Yep.
situation was made possible by. Do you remember the scene at the end of last week's episode where Papadino and Mr. Lee
Yep.
are talking to one another and they're kind of cooperating because
Yep.
Golzine wants he wants Ash and Mr. Lee agrees to help. Maybe
Yep.
Mr. Lee has instructed Yotlung to actually like hold back for a little bit and to monitor him because he wants to know more and he's not just going to do
Yep.
exactly what Papadino wants. So
Yep.
that is a
I
possibility.
I would think so. I would hope so actually. But it seems like I'm not really sure if that's the Bannerfish like intention all along.
I hope so because otherwise the plan makes like it just if your goal is to get Ash, then just get him when he shows up.
Mm-hmm.
Don't concoct this ridiculous plan of somebody posing as the adopted son of a dead scientist and them staying there because they rescued the guy and it's like all on a whim and
Yep.
oh my gosh.
Uh, all right. How do you think of the characters of the Yuklung characters this
The Who
week?
characters?
Yuklung,
Oh,
the guy, the new guy.
I don't know. He was cool. I like the scene with Shorter at the end.
Mm-hmm.
It seemed to me that the theme of this episode was like loyalty to country
Yep.
because Yutlung is like is saying to Shorter, you need to kidnap Eiji now, and you need to play spy for me and report on Ash's thoughts and his movements and all that. What
Mm-hmm.
you need to like stay loyal to us, stay loyal to your countrymen. It's just one. At one point, he actually says it's just a white man. Who are you
Mm-hmm.
gonna side with, a white man or your countrymen? And so Shorter gives that impassioned speech at the end of the episode when he has him like pinned down in the bed with a knife in the mattress, and talks
Mm-hmm.
about how his family always told him to trust the Lee family and that they couldn't survive in America without them, that they were making it
Mm-hmm.
possible. But he instead, Shorter declares that he like his beliefs as an individual and his friends are more important to him than that.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that was what this episode was going for. Ash also insists that Eiji go back to Japan because they're too different.
Mm-hmm.
And the talk about guns comes back up.
Yep.
Like you were from two different worlds, you don't need a gun to protect yourself. And he's also kind of insinuating that Eiji, being Japanese, should go back to Japan because that's where he belongs. But
Yep.
Eiji, I'm sure, will reject that.
Yep. Um, I I think Yut Lung is like one of the few characters to actually see the chemistry between Echi and Ash, and I found that actually very interesting.
Oh, that he identifies that he'll be able to manipulate Ash if he kidnaps Eiji.
Yeah, I think he see more to their relationship than just friends. He want for now he want to use that, but I think like in the long way he will actually like be the one who I think he's the one who very sensitive about this kind of chemistry. I'm not implying that he's another like bisexual characters, but he just more aware more of like yeah.
I thought that he might be based on the way that he like puts his arms around Shorter's neck
Mm-hmm,
or
mm-hmm.
over his shoulders in the opening theme.
Yep.
When you see him like emerge out of the darkness behind Shorter, I kind of thought that he and Shorter might like get a thing going, but those thoughts were put to rest when Shorter was like catcalling at some
Mm-hmm.
girl with a big butt at the
Yep,
start of
yep,
the
yep,
episode. Remember when they're in the car like on the way to Los Angeles,
yep.
or they're already maybe they're already there. And he's like yelling out the window at some girl wearing short shorts.
Yep.
I
Well,
guess he's straight. I don't know.
well, yeah. I just hope that all the characters, not all the characters in Banner Fish, will have the tendency to go, like bisexuals. Ash and Edgy would be good. Not all of them.
Yeah, I suppose you're right. Um, I
All
mean,
right.
I
One
guess
more
that's I
thing.
guess that's up to the mangaka. The story's already set in stone. So
That's right. Other things. How you feel about Max and his family?
yeah, that was terrible.
Yep.
Um, it was rushed through at the very beginning, and then
Mm,
the worst part of like I really liked the character design of the wife,
mm-hmm, mm-hmm,
um, and the idea that Ash would see that like the son being neglected,
mm-hmm,
or his dad not being able to spend time with him, and would you know kind of give rise to his own frustrations.
mm-hmm.
Like you saw the way that he went after Jessica,
Yep.
calling her an old woman, because I'm sure that when he was saying that he was venting some of his feelings about his own mother and his father, who he just recently saw get shot right in front of him.
Mm-hmm.
But they didn't really do much with that. Like that scene did not tie into the rest of the episode at all. And then the worst part was that they brought it back at the very end with a bunch of bad guys busting down the door of a
Yep.
main character's family. Again, we just went through this last week.
That's right. I it just means that they all the guys just following them like every single step. So like the moment they stay in, just right after they leave the place, this guy gonna come and go after like on the relative, on
Right.
the people that this guy met. So
Yeah.
I think the first pack is very wonky. The ways that it runs through, it try to rush every detail together. Like we just know Jennifer and the son, and then we just also learn that that's happened to be the son birthday.
Jessica.
No, is that Jessica or is that the
Yeah,
son's?
Jennifer was last week. Jessica is this week.
Oh, sorry, Jessica. Yep.
It's easy to get them mixed up.
Yeah, that's right. So yeah, Jessica and the son, and we happen to learn that day today is like the son's birthday, and all this kind of stuff. It just happened too quickly, everything.
Yeah. They leave with, well, we don't know how long they stay, but the scene is over within like 3 minutes or so,
Yeah.
probably.
Hmm.
And then Max just like throws out a comment, "Oh yeah, thanks for letting me make a pit stop to visit my kid on his birthday." There was
Yeah.
no discussion of this beforehand, and it's not brought back up again.
Look,
It's just something from the manga that I guess the director felt was important.
yeah, I think that's like a single chapter from the manga, and they just condense that into like 5 minutes.
Yeah, you might be right. It's a,
So
it's a shame.
yeah, but do you think that they're gonna get shot in the
Oh,
end?
I don't know. I don't even think we'll see the resolution of that scene. I thought that was what made it so terrible for me, was I felt like the show was trotting it out just as a way to close the episode and like bring it full circle, because that's how it started. And it was just
Uh,
for like, cheap drama. Oh, look how bad Dino Golzina is.
all
He's
right.
sending his guys after the families of all the main characters. What a
Mhm.
prick.
Yep. All right. So, how would you rate this episode in general?
It might be the worst episode of the show so far.
All right. That's a shame. I still enjoy it though. It just
Yeah.
like it had many wonky sequence that well we will get to that later to when we talk about Nadia.
Oh yeah. Well, Nadia, and I wasn't keen on Review Starlight this week either.
All right. So let's talk about review Starlight this week.
Okay.
Oh, you have anything else to talk about in that fish note?
No, not really. Just
All
that
right. So,
the entire thing with the plot of the guy being abducted and them staying like that, just the whole episode I was just going, "Huh? What?"
Yeah, that's some, like they need to depend to many, like coincidence to
Yeah.
make it happen. So no.
Yeah, we can go to review Starlight. That's cool.
All right. Actually really enjoyed review style this week,
Oh,
mostly
nice.
because I actually like the characters, the main character this week, which is Karuko.
Yeah, the blue-haired
I
girl.
Yeah, I actually like her, like her tendency to be, like very spoiled, not very serious about on these on the auditions. It just make a style different from the rest of the characters, who like all of them want to be, like to try harder to become the main stage in the main
Well,
stage.
I think she is serious. That's why she's so upset when she doesn't get a leading role and she threatens to leave and go
Well,
back to the traditional dance academy that her family runs
yeah,
or whoever runs it.
she not that serious to, to really try very hard herself. She just
Well,
want the
she's
result without the effort.
right. She's not practicing the way Futaba is.
Mm-hmm.
And in fact, she gets mad at Futaba for practicing with Claudine.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but I wouldn't. I mean, it's true that she's not putting in the work to get better.
Mm-hmm.
And in fact, that's part of why I didn't like the duel very much because she beat Futaba, um, even even though she. I don't know. Do we ever see her? I guess we do kind of see her practicing. Like after she and Futaba have had that argument,
Mm-hmm.
there are a couple scenes where they're hanging out with different people. Like Futaba is with Karen,
Mm-hmm.
Hikari, and the other girl,
Yep. And
and then Kaoruko is with some other people, and they're all like they're training separately.
yep.
But I didn't appreciate the fact that Futaba lost when she'd been doing so much practicing. I don't know.
Yeah, it had to do with the I think with the relationship between the two, because as we know from the flashback, and as we know still until now, all of the things that Futaba does now, it actually influenced by Karuko. Actually, it was like, try to follow her, basically.
Yeah, that's why she got her motorcycle license and
Yep.
blah blah blah.
And yeah, and tend to that academy.
Right.
So
Yeah,
mhm.
I mean that's true, but I don't feel as though there's a whole lot of like meat to their relationship. These are the two characters that I'm the least interested in.
Yep, that makes
And
sense.
their dynamic that they're like friends,
Hmm.
with maybe like a little bit more going on. They have like a really strong relationship where it's kind of almost destined. One feels like they're following the other almost in service of them.
Hmm.
That
Hmm.
I mean, didn't we just get an episode between Karen and what's her
Um,
face?
Mahiru.
Yeah, Mahiru. Didn't we get a lot of the same beats from that episode?
Yeah, well, this one is a childhood friends, so that's a bit of the difference. But yeah, the the general idea is the same.
Yeah, I guess it is a little bit different in that they're childhood friends. But you know who else are childhood friends? Karen and Hikari.
Oh yeah, well, huh.
I don't feel as though these two are adding a lot to the series. That's just
Well,
my opinion, though. I mean, I know everybody's gonna have different favorites and different characters that they like.
yeah.
Do you? So, what do you like about Kaoruko?
I just like her laid back attitude.
Her
So
laid
like,
back attitude.
yeah, everything, everyone else was so, like so concentrate on getting better, on appear to the stage, and
Yeah,
Kaoru just like a kind of girl who feel left off, who feel left
yeah,
out because of, like everyone just getting ahead of themselves and leaving her behind. And
right.
for one, I think I like her spoiled, like all the character, like all the activity that that seems so selfish, but it's add like other light to the show. So like
Wait, who's selfish?
she selfish, Karuko, like all her decision is actually very selfish.
Oh yeah, I agree.
So like you compare her with Chuna, the classic girl on the first and second episodes, you will see like how their personality are start different. One is too self serious, and the other one to lack of seriousness.
Right. Yeah. Although
Uh,
they do have one thing in common, and that's the fact that they feel like they're being left behind.
right, right,
Because
and
that was Juna's whole thing in the first couple episodes, but she felt like Maya and Claudia, or Claudine, I don't
yep,
know how to say her name. She felt like they were
Claudine,
getting way ahead of her. Yeah.
yep, and
I'm just sensing a lot of repetition from episode to episode
mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
at this point.
All right. That one more thing I want to talk about her characters though is I think this show they chap a lot about the thing between hardworking, so the effort that everyone put in versus the natural talent.
Right.
Because I think as the show put it, Karuko is actually a kind of the natural talent out of those out of the cast. So I think just see and Tendo are the one with the natural talent, and the other ones are like more of the hardworking. So I think it makes sense that they make many scenes between Karuko and Tendo Maya
They
about
do?
like yeah. So remember like when Karuko about to leave, and it's Tendo Maya who like tell her something about like I understand your feeling at one point.
Yeah, I do remember that, but I felt like the translation was really bad
All
because
right.
I didn't like get the full meaning.
Yeah,
Uh,
it's kind of vague. Yep.
I wish that one of the fan subgroups had put out their subs on time. This is 2 weeks in a row now that I've watched horrible subs, and
And it's horrible,
I
huh?
I don't like it.
Mhm.
Yes, indeed, it has that name for a reason. I mean,
So,
they're just Sentai subs, high dive,
mhm.
but
Yep.
yeah, I don't
Oh,
think they have their best people on this one.
I think I watched one of those guys who do the sub, which is let me check the subs that I watched was Fly Sub.
Oh, you
It
watched Fly Subs? Okay, I have not seen Fly Subs work on this series.
Nah, it's alright, but he have like two kind of sub. One is like the normal serious sub, and the other one was kind of troll. And I watched
Yes.
the and I switched to the troll sub, which make me laugh a lot. All right,
The high score girl subs that are being done by an Anon,
all right.
aren't they kind of like troll subs too? You're watching that
They
series. Aren't there a bunch of jokes in there?
no, they not actually because I watched. Let's see what sub I watched for high scorer. Um, just bear me a sec.
I mean, I can
Anon,
find it.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
Anon
it
sub,
should just say Anon because
yeah,
I've actually seen the threads on A
yeah.
where the guy is like telling people that he's in the process of creating the
Oh,
subs. And
all right,
he always like includes a bunch of jokes in there. I mean, at least from the screenshots that I've seen.
all right.
But I have not watched the episode.
Yeah, I haven't really noticed the joke though.
Okay. Might be a
Yeah,
little more obvious when there's two dedicated tracks and one of
mm-hmm,
them is
mm-hmm.
specifically for joke subs.
That's right. That's right.
Anyways,
Yep. Um, there's one
honestly,
more.
yeah, this
Yeah,
was go ahead. One more thing.
yeah. One more thing I want to say about is like they've been setting up the banana characters for a lot right now. about how she doesn't want to be included to the stage, to the Starlight stage. And I'm really hope that the next one maybe that we get the full episodes focus on Banana.
Wait, what do you mean she doesn't want to be on the stage?
So
I mean,
she
I know she's part of the production team now, like Class B or whatever
yep
they're called,
yep
but she still wants to perform, doesn't she?
yeah she don't want to be on the spotlight though because everyone who been auditioned to be a spotlight to be number one, to be the two leads actually.
Oh,
Then
I don't
she
remember her expressing that, like
yeah
saying or feeling that she didn't want to be on the stage.
she doesn't want to spend more time to be on stage. I think that what she implies.
Okay, well then I can already guess what the episode featuring her will be about. It'll be about her being like, "Oh, I don't really want to compete," and then she'll Juna or Karen or somebody will talk to her and be like, you can do it. You're a great performer. I believe in you." And then they'll
And
have a duel, and then Banana will be like, "Oh yeah, I actually love acting." The
yeah
end.
yeah, I think so. I think so as well. Actually, I
I
think more. That's more to her. That she doesn't want to be on stage. Then no, just I don't want to be on stage anymore. There's more to her than that. But I think we get the general idea of
I'm so
like
I'm so disappointed.
yeah.
I'm so disappointed, yes, by the series.
All right.
I'm like I feel as though the duels, the reviews have. You remember how like distinctive they were in the first two, maybe three episodes, and
Yep.
how there was like there was a wealth of like visual information that we could use that would inform us about the characters
Mm-hmm.
as individuals, like their personality traits. I just in this episode in particular, I felt like that was totally gone.
All right, I can still see some of the characters characteristic from the dude that speak to their personality. But for the episode alone, I agree that it's less impressive than the other episodes. I still see that last episode was really good on that with Mahiru and Karen fight.
Yeah,
And
that was quirky. It was intriguing at the very least.
yep.
But this one, I felt like it 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 just wasn't. It didn't do anything for me. Like, and in addition to me not getting a real sense of how what I was supposed to learn about Kaoruko's character from the
Mm-hmm.
duel, I
Yep.
also felt as though it was like not a very impressive piece of animation. And in
All right.
fact, there are like staff members from the series have been begging for help on Twitter
Yep. Yep.
to bring in freelancers and like help them get each episode out on time each week because apparently it's like a production nightmare for
Yep.
them right now.
I
And
heard that as well.
I really felt that in this episode. Like, do you remember the tap dance practice near the start where
Uh-huh,
it was
uh-huh.
just like still images of them tap dancing?
Yep.
Not the one where she was practicing with Claudine at
Mm-hmm.
night, but the one
Yep.
in the classroom.
Yep.
They were just like still images. And
Well.
there were some continuity errors in this episode too, in terms of characters not like being in the right place when a new shot, like a new angle, was given to a
Mhm.
conversation. I really, I don't know. Maybe it's just because I learned that about the production that I'm seeing this stuff now, but it really stuck out to me.
All right.
I'm just
Uh,
afraid of how things will end.
all right. I- Is it you think that's the problem is this episode move away from Karen?
Um, no, because past episodes that have focused on characters like Juna
Mm-hmm.
or Hikari
Yep.
have been okay. And in
Mm-hmm.
fact, Karen like really bothered me in this episode. The way she was clinging to
Yep.
Kaoruko's leg and like whining like a small child.
Yep. All right. Oh, well.
That was annoying.
Mm-hmm.
At least I thought it was annoying.
All right. I still think that this episode was doing its job, and I still think that the show is still like one of the best show this seasons. So yeah, I still taking along.
I mean, I'm with the show till the end. Based on the promise that the first few episodes had,
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna finish it.
Yep.
But I was like last week, I know I wasn't too hot on the series, or on that episode, but this one makes me appreciate last week so much more because I honestly felt that this one was like it didn't look very good. I didn't have any attachment to any of the characters. I felt as though the show is repeating itself, which you would expect it would, given that this
Yep.
show is aping Ikuhara's style like crazy. You would expect a lot of repetition,
That's
but
right.
not in this way. Like
All right.
I'm
That.
not down for it. And especially the scene where like Futaba goes to the train station and
Yep.
stops
Mm-hmm.
Kaoruko from leaving. That just felt like a scene from an idol show.
Yep.
Like one of the
I.
idols feel like is giving up because it's too hard, and then the other one like stops her at the last minute and says, "But we have a special bond because we're both idols. We're
Yep.
friends and stuff." And then they
All right. One good thing after this episode though is that you don't have to see an episode focus on them anymore.
I guess, but I'm worried about the show as a whole, not just who it chooses to focus on.
Right.
But that thank you for finding that silver lining for me. I do appreciate that.
All right. All right. You have anything else that you wish to talk about these shows
uh
or these
not
episodes or Karuko?
no. I'm just, I'll look forward to next week. I really want the fan subs. Maybe I'll try fly subs next week.
Mm-hmm.
See if that like
Try,
improves things for me.
like try to show up.
I will. I will.
Oh god, that's so funny. All right, let's get to the manga now. So High School Girl Volume Two
Yes.
plus
Yes. Oh boy.
chapter 8 and 9.
Yeah, we're
So
gonna do chapter 8 and 9, then volume 2. Yeah.
all right. So how you think about them now?
Oh, I'm liking it. I'm in.
Right. All right.
Yes.
I'm glad to hear that actually. So you want to talk about chapter 8 and 9 before we move on to the next one, or you want to just tell them as a whole?
Um, I guess we
Because
can do it as a whole. I mean, the main thing that chapters 8 and 9 do is they set up and then execute Ono's departure.
yep, that's right.
And these are the chapters. I mean, from the very beginning, it's been pretty clear that she likes Haruo.
Mm-hmm.
But the amusement park chapter, which is 8, really makes
Yep,
it clear.
that's
Because
right.
she wants to ride the Ferris wheel with him, and then there's that shot where she falls asleep against him on the bus ride home.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so you get a sense that she really does care for him, and
Yep,
you kind of get the feeling that he does for her, but he doesn't realize it quite
that's
the
right.
way she does.
Yep. S- Um, the reason that I want to say that, like, if we split that from chapter 8, 9 and the volume 2, because the volume 2 they start the new characters. They introduce the new characters, which actually she's my favorite characters of the manga.
Oh, mine too.
Hida, Hidaka.
Yes,
So
I love her. She's awesome.
she awesome. How? All right. Tell me about how you feel about her.
Okay, before we start talking about her, I want to say one more thing about chapter 9.
All right. Right. Yep.
You know how he doesn't give her a present and stuff, and she leaves to go to the airport to go to
Mm-hmm.
Los Angeles. I really
Yep.
liked the concept of a whole bunch of video game characters appearing to Haro in his mind's eye, and
That's
like
right.
encouraging him to go to the airport.
Yep.
And the fact that one of them was Guile,
Mm-hmm.
the guy with the crazy hair that looks like a brush.
Yep. That's right.
He's
Yep.
his main character in Street Fighter 2.
Mm-hmm.
I just thought that was, I thought that was, I don't know. I thought that was interesting. It really puts you in Haruo's mindset. Like the thing that he cares about most in the world is video games. So if he feels strongly about somebody, then he's going to relate them to games somehow. So even just the fact that the manga does it in that way, uses his beloved video game characters to persuade him to go and see Ono, is kind of a reflection of the strength of his feelings for her.
That's right.
Though he doesn't quite have a grasp on that yet, because he's like 11 or 12 before
Yeah.
the time skip.
They are still primary school, so I would say probably about 10, 11 years
Yeah.
old.
Yeah.
You know what that scene remind me about what which shows?
What?
It remind me about Piano no Mori when Kai uh, went to the tournaments and he sees Moza and all the guys in costume.
Yes. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's right. And that is really similar actually because the thing that he loves most is piano. So
Hmm.
of course when he like visualizes those characters or has like a voice in his head speaking to him, it's going to take on the form of something music related.
That's right.
Yeah, that's a good parallel.
And yep. So actually, before we move on to Hidaka, that scenes of them in the airport, I really like the way that like Ono bursts out because she's the kind of character who never say or never really imply what she thinks. So like having the moment that she like just hanging on to Haru and burst out was really effective, and actually that was the closing of the episode 3 of the anime that make me want to read on to the manga.
Ah, okay. I
Yep.
see. I was, you know what, honestly, I was kind of hoping that she was literally mute,
All right.
that she couldn't talk.
I
Uh,
All right.
because like the reason I feel that way is because I'm not really down with the idea that like uh creating like an Ojo Sama character and then having her not speak and having her like hit Haruo and like bonk him with her head and all that stuff and kind of act like a tsundere, you know.
Hmm.
I'm not really about that. That's not really my thing. I don't appreciate that sort of character writing
Yep.
because I think it leans a little too far into trope territory.
Hmm.
So
Hmm.
I wanted her to like actually not be able to speak.
Mm.
But because I don't think we've ever seen her speak, at least not yet. But then she did cry out like that in the airport,
Hmm.
which I thought was okay. But there was one weird element to it where she was like clawing at his face,
Yep.
and then he has the scratch marks on his face when he
Yep.
says his like last goodbye. That was a little strange.
uh well, that's what the shows really like to do actually. Like when this girl went oh no, she kind of having like an emotional outburst.
Hmm.
She will actually hit Haruo. We see
Yeah,
that a lot.
I don't really find that endearing or
uh,
cute or anything.
uh,
I don't really like that.
I
You
just
know,
found that a bit wacky, but it worked for me.
the do you remember Your Lie in April?
Yep. Yep.
Shigatsu wa Kimi no Uso or something.
Uh-huh, uh-huh.
Um, that had the same thing where the girl was like constantly hitting the main character or kicking him
Yep.
upside the head, and it was supposed to be like endearing or attractive.
And
I
you find that annoying.
yeah I do. I mean, more than finding it, I guess I do find it annoying, but more than that, I don't think that it's not a very good means of characterization. Like, what are you telling us about the character if that's how they communicate? That they don't have a good grasp on their feelings, they can't say what they're feeling.
Uh,
You can show us that in another way.
well, but I can say that actually that's how the girls act when they when they getting shy or when they don't know what to do.
What in real
So
life
in real life, like
you know
I
women that like hit guys when they
no
have
no
a crush on them?
I wouldn't say that they do that on the guy having a crush on them, but they do that when the guys like teasing them or something. So like I
Okay.
have that a lot in in my secondary school or my high school.
Yeah,
I got that a lot, so I know.
that kind of thing in response to teasing I can understand, but when it just becomes like a part of the character, I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm not really into it.
All right. And one more thing before we get into that chapter 2 is that the manga that we've been covering now actually passed the anime episodes.
What do you mean?
So like we read into chapter 15, and I think the anime now it's just in chapter 10 or 11.
Oh,
So
really?
we passed the point where the anime goes.
Oh, okay.
All right. Yep.
Good to know. All right, yeah, let's talk about Hidaka.
Yep. Tell me what you like about her characters because I have a lot to tell you about her. About her.
I just like how reasonable she is.
All right.
We were mostly inside Haruo's head for the first nine
Yep.
chapters.
Mm-hmm.
Now we're inside her head.
Yep.
But because she is more of a quote unquote normal person, like a more well rounded person with a broader perspective of life,
Mm-hmm.
we're not trapped inside the head of somebody who's like addicted to video games
Mm-hmm.
and doesn't really understand or appreciate anything except for that. Like
Mm-hmm.
she is interested in a guy and she knows it and she's actively pursuing him. And she's very reflective. She tends to think about, like why she cares for someone or how different they are from her or how they're like contrasting herself and Haru all the time.
Mm-hmm.
And she notices how like spoiled and how bratty, how arrogant and prideful he is.
Mm-hmm.
She will constantly comment about that to herself.
Yep.
Um, but she likes him anyway, and she probably feels no small amount of like what's the word I'm looking for? Like inner conflict about that.
Mm-hmm.
Because she says at one point that she hates guys like that, you know.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
But she's still drawn to him for whatever reason, and
Yep.
I don't think she totally understands that herself. I mean, there is the contrasting dynamic between the two where Haruo kind of lives his bliss and does what he pleases,
Yep.
whereas she is somebody who really doesn't. Like she mostly studies. Um, she doesn't exactly know how to enjoy herself, and so she envies that quality that Haruo has. I think that's probably part of why she's attracted to him.
That's
But
right.
at the same
Yep.
time, I think there's more to it than that she doesn't totally get, and the fact that she's grappling with that, even as she recognizes that he's kind of like a petulant kid, is
Mm-hmm.
interesting. I feel like the manga, through her character, is doing a good job of explaining what young love is like because you don't totally get it when you're in it.
Yep. I very agree with you on that. I think this manga actually like nailed it. Of like the how to portray like first feeling, first love. That when you realize that you into someone better than any rom com manga that I read.
Really?
Uh, or comedy actually. Like yeah, they actually the the manga that make it like that just feels so right to me. So
Yeah.
I can see the reason why that Hidaka get attracted to Haruo because basically he just the opposite of her. He just pursue what he want to do, which Hidaka just as a character just doesn't really do that lot of stuff. So she actually attracted to that. I can see
Yeah.
that. I can see how like um just many of the moments that the show like reflecting her her thought that I actually feel just right, like the way that she jumping up and down on the ground in her room
Yes,
when
when he's outside in the snowstorm playing the
yep
what I
yep
forget what it's called, the VNS or something.
yep and actually at that time she also thought that maybe he was thinking about her, and then she just like somewhat just scrap it off to say like, oh silly me, what why did I think about that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it just they just capture that feeling of of having a crush, of starting to having a crush so right.
Yeah.
And I like all the things that happen afterwards as well, like when she give him a chocolate with the and she know that he wouldn't even notice the chocolate, so she also print the game magazines.
Yeah, Gamist, the one we talked
Yeah,
about last week.
yeah. The
Did
game
she
is.
actually did she actually give him the chocolate? I don't
He
remember
act,
seeing that.
he actually gave him the chocolate. She bring the chocolate and the in the box, and the game is and bring them to her, to him both, and he just like kind of received the game is.
I don't even remember seeing the chocolate, like her handing him
Yeah,
the
yeah.
chocolate or setting it anywhere. Okay.
Yeah, yeah, it does. And in the anime, they make it more clear about that.
Okay.
Yep. But
I'm
I,
gonna go back and check that out
yep.
because I
But
missed it.
I really like it when like after that day with him, she thinking she know the fact that like he doesn't really into her. But
Yes.
so that just tell you how like how how sensitive that she is, that she actually realize that, but then she still like clinging to that feeling, and she being honest to her feelings. She just a great characters.
Yeah. She is. I
Yeah.
I I like her a lot. Like I relate to her.
Yep.
Um, despite the fact that she's experiencing, romantic feelings from the other side of the gender
Yep.
spectrum. Um, she and not just that, but also how she is as an individual. Like
Mm.
when she's going to the Christmas party
Yep.
and her mom is wrapping the muffler around her and says have fun. She thinks to herself, am I really gonna have fun if I go?
Yep. Yep.
I
That's right.
can I can feel exactly what that feels like right now just thinking about it. If I go
Hmm.
to this place with a whole bunch of people, it's loud, it's noisy. I don't have many friends there. Am I really gonna enjoy myself, or should I
Yeah.
just stay cooped up, hidden from the world?
Yeah. That's right.
And that's
So.
actually something that she and Haruo have in common. They are
Yep.
very
Hmm.
different. She is more self-aware. She's more studious. She's I you could say that she's more normal.
Yep. That's right.
But that's one thing they have in common, that they both have like an aversion to large crowds, social gatherings. They like to have time to themselves.
Hmm. Yep.
So there is some reason for them to. There is some amount of compatibility between them, which I think is a wise choice on the part of the manga author for not
That's right.
making her like the complete opposite of both Haruo and Ono.
Hmm.
There is enough of a there's enough of like a shy, quiet, nerdy girl in her that you can
Hmm.
see why she might be like potentially a good partner for Haruo, even though I'm sure that at the end, he'll end up with Ono.
Kind of make me sad though, because story wise, because story wise, we know for sure that like she function kind of a third wheel.
Yes.
So we have kind of a very generic storyline, generic. It actually have like all the bits that we know will happen later, but I can help but think that this is like one of the, just like her addition to the cast is what make the manga is so great now.
Yeah, I agree. She's my favorite part for sure. Although I do think that the storytelling is a lot better at this
Yep,
point.
that's right. It's getting
The
all the chapter getting longer but more focused.
the world
And
is also opened up a little bit more. It's paying more attention to the evolution of gaming, Street Fighter
yep,
2 in particular.
but
Um, the like Haruo's thoughts are being portrayed a little bit more
mature.
creatively. For example, the like all the video game characters telling him to go and see off Ono at the airport,
Yep.
and there, I don't know. There's just more diversity of feeling, I think, with the
Hmm.
addition of more characters. I even really like the new friend character. I think
Yep.
his name is Mi-ai.
Yep.
Uh, he it's cool to introduce a character who is a gamer and who's into that sort of thing and is
Yep.
friends
Haru.
with Haruo on that basis.
Yep.
but also he's like he functions another way in the story. He's going to make it like a love square.
Yep. Hey,
I
actually,
saw the preview for the third volume. I know you've already read all of it, but
uh,
I know he's interested in Ono.
yep. So he actually a good character as well. I can say the same for many other side characters like Haru Mums. I still think she are good characters.
She's a strange character from what I've seen so far.
Yep. The way she's yeah, she is strange. She actually for now she serves as more as a comic relief,
Right.
which is why she feels strange. But I think later on we will see that she also a good characters. Um, one other thing that I want to point out is you know how people actually compared Hidaka, that she more like honest, she more open. We know more about her than Ono or Haruo's.
Hmm.
She more relatable. But the thing like she actually also the kind of character who doesn't talk much. So we actually
Yeah.
we actually know about all about her feeling and thinking, but she also the one who like getting all the feeling bottle up inside her.
Yeah.
So yeah, I just think that interesting.
Yeah. I mean, I think it's probably a necessity for, since it's a rom com, you can't have characters confessing all over the place.
Mhm.
I mean, you can write it that way that characters get together at the start, but that's not what this manga is going for
Yep, and
because it's juggling a lot more plates than just two characters getting together.
that's right. And compared to Ono, she actually talk a lot, and I
Yeah, well,
actually
anyone talks a lot compared to Ono. The only thing we've heard her say so far is "ooh ah."
uh, and she actually I like the chemistry between her and Haru now. Although Haru, that still doesn't really like see much of her. They still have a very like easygoing relationship going on.
Who? Ono and Haruo.
No, Haru and Hidaka.
Oh yes, yeah,
Yep,
yeah.
and
The
now
her dad mistakes him for her boyfriend
yep, that's right.
because they're always hanging out together, and he's always playing the game machine in front of the liquor store.
And I think you would notice that as well. But the way that Hidaka always want to watch Haru playing from behind, actually speak very well to her position as a at the third wheel
Yeah,
of yeah of the show.
poor girl.
Yeah, poor girl.
Yeah, I
Now
mean,
that
not it
yep.
doesn't speak just to where she's going to end up in terms of the love triangle, but also who she is as a person. Like
That's right.
she's the quiet girl who likes to stay in and doesn't like to like to go out.
And
Um,
who will follow Haru like in every step, but like from
right.
behind. I actually like that. Like the idea behind that.
Yeah. I do as well, but I like the fact that it's also tempered by her mild interest in video games. Like
Yep.
she does enjoy playing with Haruo, and
Yep.
she thinks to herself at times, if I really practiced, if I got good at this game, you know, would he
Hmm.
like me? And she also admires Ono
Hmm.
for her skill. Like
Yep.
when Haruo comes back from the bathroom in chapter 15, she says, "The I played against like this really beautiful girl.
Hmm.
She was so powerful I couldn't even touch her." And you
Yep.
kind of get the sense that she really admires
Yep.
that there's another girl who can like compete in this mostly male oriented world.
Yep. All
So
right.
I
So
think there's lots of great things to like about her, her character and the manga, especially now that she's in it.
yep. So all right. So moving away from Hidaka now, we got Ono coming back from America, and she met Haru again in the arcade. in the arcade.
Yes,
Uh,
it was chapter 14 where
yep,
Hidaka fights against oh no, it's chapter
yep,
15 where they do the co-op play.
yeah, and
Yeah.
she actually kind of ignore him. So what do you think about this?
Oh, I mean, it's pretty clear that we've seen her like spying on Haruo through the window of her limousine.
Yep,
So
yep.
she sees like a pretty girl with Haruo, and of course she's jealous. She's upset because she still treasures the ring that he gave her. She has it on a
Hmm.
chain, and so yeah, she's mad at him. I mean, that's crystal clear. There's not a lot of subtlety
Yeah.
there,
Hmm. Hmm.
but that's that's okay. I'm
Um.
fine with that.
Yep. How you think that that relationship will involved
What, Ono and
evolved?
Haruo?
Yep.
They're gonna get together at the end. That's my
How,
prediction.
at the end it's still far away. We just chapter two, and the end is we still just volume two, and the end is volume 10. So
Right.
there's 8 more volumes.
I mean, my I know you've read the whole thing, so you're kind of teasing at what's gonna happen.
Yep.
But my prediction is that like they won't get together until much later. If that's not true, then I will be happy to be proven wrong. That's just
All
my
right.
default assumption when thinking about like anime or manga romance, because a lot of them go that direction. Like they just keep building up and building up and building up, and then there's a bunch of romantic obstacles, and then there are like mistimed confessions, and then finally, like at the end, they'll kiss or something, and the curtain drops. So if High Score Girl does not take that approach, then that's wonderful. But that's my guess.
All right. Let's see how it goes on the next volume, which is from I think from chapter 16 to chapter 21, so 5 chapters.
6 chapters, right?
6 chapters, yeah, 16 to
Yeah.
21. Yep.
Yeah.
And as a closing note, though, he I won't lie that I'm really into this manga because of Hidaka, and she remind me of I somehow she remind me of the characters in Flower of Evils,
You
which
really like to draw comparisons between things
yep.
in Flowers of Evil. You actually
um,
compared Flowers of Evil to something else
yeah.
earlier.
I compare Flower of Evil with Shuki Gakire,
That's
which
right.
actually are
Makes no
very apt
sense.
comparisons. Yes.
I
You know
have
that.
I have not read the manga, so I can't say.
All right. Uh, everything that involving around like coming of age on the secondary school will have the comparison with Power of Evils from me.
Great.
Yeah, all right. Yep. So
One day I'll read Aku no Hana. One day.
yep.
All
One
right,
day you.
let's do Nadia because we're running out of time. We can
Yep.
go a little bit
Oh
over an
shit.
hour, I guess.
Shit. Yep. Let's go. Let's go to Nadia's Secret of Blue Water. Oh my
All
god.
right, I have a proposal. Let's just talk about episodes 31 and 35.
Yes, we're gonna do that. 31
Like
to 35.
skip the Africa stuff.
All right. So
For the most part, all the stuff with Gonzalez and what's his
what
face, Hama Hama. Like, just
hama hama.
I'm willing. Yeah, the guy that Nadia falls in love with.
All right. I'm telling you upfront now that while I consider that the island act was a filler, so like it basically add little to nothing to the overall plot. I still enjoy that much more than this African act.
Oh yeah, it was terrible. So let's just not talk about it.
I have too many things to worry about that actually, but yeah, we don't need to talk about that.
We don't have
Um,
time.
all
Yeah,
right,
it's awful.
all right.
The writing for Nadia's character is awful. The
Yep,
animation, the production is awful. King drinking that red juice is
yep.
awful. It's
All
like
right,
borderline. It's borderline racist.
yep.
There's tons of stuff to hate, but
And there's one specific scenes where you can see John doesn't have his glass on. while he running, and the next scene he had his glass on again.
Oh,
So
I missed that.
yeah, so the animation was really bad. All
Right.
right, we can talk to the main point now, which is episode 31 and 35. You say?
Yeah. So in 31, she like goes down into the it's a ship. You know, the
Yep,
island is a ship. I think we predicted that last week.
yep.
So she's inherited the power of something called the Taurus Megistos,
Mm-hmm.
um, and I'm not totally sure what that is. And the ship they were on was called the Red Noah,
Yep,
um, which is an Atlantean ship of some
yep.
kind. And I don't know, like the mythology that the show is trotting out now does not make total sense to me.
No, it's not. Well, it's basically because I'm not Christian, so I don't get all the Noah. Sorry, at Atlantis and all the Tower of Babel stuff.
Well,
But
Atlantis doesn't have anything to do with Christianity, but Noah's
yeah,
Ark and the Tower of Babel, they do.
yeah, and I don't think that is add up to the series those.
You don't think what?
It's add up. So I mean like the Tower of Babel. Do we really know more about this after she like goes back to her hometown?
Oh, we know plenty about the Tower of Babel.
Yeah,
Remember, that's the name of the device that Gargoyle wanted to use to destroy islands and
yeah, yeah,
eventually the
yeah.
whole world. And it's what caused the ruin of the Atlantean people in the first. Well, I don't know. Remember all that stuff where M78 or whatever, that artificial intelligence that was talking to Nadia in the middle of the Red Noah.
All right, yeah, yeah,
It
yeah.
was
Mm-hmm.
talking to her about like holy wars that had been fought between different factions of Atlantean society,
Yep. Uh-huh.
and it caused them to destroy themselves over and over. So it's like a cycle of destruction.
Yep.
Um, that I understand. I get that the general idea is that even though they have this really powerful technology, they haven't been taking care to use it properly, and so they've been engaged in warfare, and a lot of it has been
Mm-hmm.
religious warfare. It sounds
Yep.
like, which I think the show the point is making is that that's just foolishness.
Yep.
Like it's wasted potential.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so I get that, but all the details about like the Red Noah, the Taurus Megistos, and then they Tartessos, her birthplace that they visit in episode 35, and uh, the idea that she can like see the beginning of humanity, like she can understand, she can either become God or the devil, and like she can understand all things. That is just I actually it reminds me of Evangelion. I know I've probably said that like 5 times,
All right.
but Evangelion had a similar kind of thing going on, but it was way more fleshed out and a lot more poetic, actually.
All
In
right.
in this show, I think the 10 episode chunk that was dedicated to just wasting time because of
Yep.
production issues,
Mm-hmm.
I think that has stopped any of this stuff from really making sense or carrying any impact.
Well, we just at the beginning of the closing act, so I won't tell for sure that how like how Nadia gonna bring that idea across, because I'm pretty sure that she will be the one who who be the queen, the princess, the queen, and she doesn't want to like destroy everything, or
Right.
even like kill anyone
Yeah.
to like to build the Atlantis community again. So let's just see how the show use that up. But for all the plot or all the um on the plot building, on the like on the plot dumping, actually it was
Yeah.
like too much information for me that I don't really need.
Yeah, I know what you mean. I didn't feel as though it was too much information. It just wasn't communicated very effectively or clearly. Like
All
I,
right.
I can understand how it would take a bit of time to explain all of this stuff, especially since Nadia is just coming to grips with it herself, because she's
Mm-hmm.
been suppressing that knowledge. Between episodes 31 and 35, I mean,
Yep.
obviously the actual story is that they just chose to waste 3 episodes doing diddly squat. But the idea is that she, ever since like learning who she really was, she has been keeping that part like submerged in her consciousness.
Yep.
And now it's all coming back up, and it's like too much for her to bear.
Mm-hmm.
Like
Yep.
it's literally too much. Because of what she does in episode 35.
It sounds a bit like Shinchi. Hey,
Sounds a bit like what?
Shin
Oh
from
yes,
Eva.
from Ava. Yeah, yeah. I mean, for sure, what she's going through is very similar to what Shinji went through in Evangelion.
Yep.
This
All right.
this this show is like a prototype Ava, in my
Mm-hmm.
opinion.
Yep. Which
Although
actually
we're not
make whole
done
kind
yet.
of
There's 4
sense.
more episodes.
Yeah, it's 4 more episodes, and I think we're back on track now to the main plot. Oh my god, I can still I still can't believe that like episode 34 is the one with all the songs,
Right.
on the insert songs, and on the reused footage.
Yep.
That they actually just show the whole bunch of them when they are nude, when Nadia are changing clothes, when Nadia was taking a bath. Oh my god, that was
Yeah.
so terrible.
The less said about that, the better. Honestly,
Alright.
I heard. This is totally. Never mind. I was going to tell a story that wasn't related to anything that we're talking about.
Alright.
Never mind. Yeah, it's gross.
Yeah.
So
So
I think the main thing that's going to happen in the next 4 episodes is do you remember what was that dude's name, like Nadia's brother, who was hooked up to that
oh
chair
yeah,
that Gargoyle was talking with at one point or another?
I don't remember his name either.
I think he's probably going
Yep.
to come back.
I
Um,
hope I hope Nemo come back. I really hope so.
yeah.
Or even see a bit of Electra, but since we only got 4 episodes left, I don't know if they gonna make a comeback.
I don't either.
Uh,
Um,
so so
are we
now
going to talk about Are we going to talk about Nadia's suicide attempt?
is it days? All right, tell me about that. Is that when she was falling down from the Tower of Babel?
Yeah. She says
All
see
right.
you later and like steps off the tower and falls.
Yep.
She tries to kill herself.
All right.
Because she, as like the holder of the blue water,
Mm-hmm.
she this is exactly this is what I don't get. Like that suicide attempt was robbed of like the weight it should have carried, because I don't, as a viewer, I don't totally understand the power that is granted to her by the blue water and by
Mm.
the Taurus Megistos or whatever. Like the whole mythology aspect being lacking stops me from really appreciating the weight
Yep.
of what she's carrying. But
Yep.
I do remember that in episode 35, she says that she can feel the grief of all the souls
Uh huh.
in Tartessos, like all the dead souls in her homeland.
Yeah.
All of that enters
Uh,
her, and she's bearing it like a Christ figure.
yeah. That actually really bad because I want to see like it visualize how like every force of like dead soul come into her. But what we see is just like she's just standing there in the Christ figures and just say on the kind of stuff. So it's more like it more to me that she's some kind of a medium than like a real person who actually experienced all that.
Yeah,
So
a
yeah,
medium.
yeah so
Yeah.
so
I mean, I
yes I
guess that's part of the blue water's function, is that like you seem to, I don't know. Do you remember when the show describes the blue water as a philosopher's stone?
yep.
Which is created. I mean, in Full Metal Alchemist, for example, this Philosopher's Stone is created by, like, through the use of human souls, like human lives.
Uh-huh.
So maybe it's a similar thing going on here. Like the Philosopher's Stone is the essence of life itself, and it
Mm-hmm.
gives you kind of control over life and death, and it gives you knowledge of like the beginning of life.
Mm-hmm.
It just lets you see on a much greater plane than humans can see. It lets you kind of
All right.
experience things in more of like a godlike state. and she couldn't handle that, and so that drove her to step off the tower.
Yep. So I agree
Um,
with you that we actually don't see the weight that she been carrying. So that's why we don't really identify with her, trouble.
yeah, and I mean that could have been so powerful because from the very first
Mm,
episode, we have seen her struggle with
mm-hmm.
with grief and depression
Yep. Yep.
and just like overwhelming sadness at being like a
Abandoned.
yeah, like not knowing who she is, where she comes from, what her purpose is, being manipulated by others, being chased by the Grandis gang for reasons she doesn't
Mm-hmm.
understand.
Mm-hmm.
Um, that like if the show had carried that through, and it does for a large portion of the first 23, 25 episodes, let's say,
Mm-hmm.
it carries that sadness through. But then the the mythology not being totally clear is one thing, but also the fact that the show was just goofing off for the last 10 episodes,
Yep.
um, that also really prohibits that scene from, really working the way that it
Yep.
should have.
Yep. From what I heard, though, Nadia Secret of Blue Water was supposed to be only 30 episodes, but because it was so popular in Japan that the TV broadcast want to extend that into 9 more episodes, and that denies wandering, endless, pointless episode that we just seen in the
Huh.
islands. Yeah, arc. So that's why.
I did not know that.
Yeah.
Yeah, hooray for studio meddling.
Yep. Mm, so yep. I guess, but the good thing is that all the bad stuff we already get behind. So we only got like 4 supposedly very good episode left.
Yeah, well, hopefully. I'm worried that like, the damage is done.
Yeah,
For example, episode 35 you could tell was back to being animated by Gainax.
yep.
But it didn't quite have the tone, the energy like that I wanted from it.
You know,
Um,
like from episode 30 from last week, I still feel a bit like optimistic to the show, but like in this episode 35, I actually feel a bit down.
yeah, me too.
So yeah, so actually it damaged to me more than I would have, you know I would have wanted to.
Yeah. Hopefully, the last 4 episodes will bring it back up.
Yeah.
But I
Or
I'm not optimistic. We'll
yeah,
see.
or yeah, just hope it's end on a good note. All
Yeah.
right.
Are we ready to end the podcast on a good note?
Yeah. All right. You can, if you have something up good to say,
No.
go
Oh,
ahead.
I wasn't implying that I had anything like good or positive
All
to
right.
say. I was just like
Because
trying to wrap it up.
all right, I have one more show to wrap up very quickly, and it's a bad show. It's a bad episode of a disappointing show. I just watched Stand Yet Zero last episodes, and it was really bad. It was very very bad. It was
Sorry to
like
hear that.
oh,
I don't want
you
to
know
say I
like
told you so, but
you know how Stan Yet always pretty clumsy when it comes to guns and stuff. And here we get a character to actually do the karate chop to cut one of the military guys' heads off
what?
with her bare hands. How can you believe that? How can like how can it be like any kind of seriousness?
I don't know. It's Steins Gate.
Yeah, and
It's
we had
completely ludicrous.
the review of the main villain, which is really bad as well. All right, I'm done. I'm done for. So let's just wrap up.
All right, to all you Steins Gate lovers out there, you better reevaluate your life choices. Mario's over here dropping truth bombs.
All right. Uh, hopefully next week, Nadia gonna finish in a good note, and we will move on to the next show, which is Zero Experiments Lens.
Yes.
All right.
So we'll be starting that in 2 weeks. And my vision for that is we're gonna do 2 episodes
Y-
per week.
yep. I'm okay with that.
Yeah,
All right.
I feel like there's probably a lot of stuff to unpack in that show.
Yep. Thank you for listening, guys,
Thanks
and
a
we will
lot.
see you next week.
Bye,
Bye.
everybody.